What's up guys, Syiler here and I am back with another video, and in this video we're going to run through the features and the things to do in patch 8.1.5. It's right around the corner at this point, coming on the 12th or 13th of March depending on where you're from, and while it isn't a big patch there are still quite a few things to do. So the first thing up is the Brawlers Guild, and this is one of my personal favourites. I absolutely love the idea behind the Brawlers Guild, this kind of like solo player experience, where you fight these kind of difficult or interesting mechanical fights, and you get rewards for doing it. I also like the community aspect of people being around and you getting to watch them attempt it or fail and learn from each other. It's quite cool. This time around there is a transmog set for you to collect, also a quest line to run through. It's kind of like a murder mystery that you'll do alongside your Brawlers Guild fighting experience. I would recommend trying to do the Brawlers Guild quest line quite early on because it does require other people to be doing it as well, which is going to be harder if there's not many people doing it anymore. And from completing the questline, you will get a mount. Next up is the time walking for Warlords of Draenor, and from this you're going to be able to pick up 2 mounts, very similar to the expansion's dungeons. You know, you're going to have Everbloom, you're going to have the Iron Docks. There is a few removed, but for the most part it'll be a big chunk of the dungeons that you'd normally do. And from the time walking this time around, you're going to be able to pick yourself up 2 mounts, the ones that you can see currently. These will both cost 5,000 time walking badges each, and we can expect to see the first Warlords of Draenor time walking in about May. That's where it is on the PTR calendar at least. Might change a little bit, but start saving your time walking badges now if you do want those mounts. Next up is changes to heirlooms, and they're making it so heirlooms now scale to level 120, so you can level from 110 to 120 a little bit quicker. Welcome change, because at this point, like, we've seen the storyline, there's no point in making the questing experience any slower. And they've also made it so the heirlooms cost a little bit cheaper in general too. So if you don't own many heirlooms, now is definitely the time to buy them, because they are going to be a little bit cheaper for you. So a great time to start looking to level characters. Alongside that change, they've also updated the Island Expedition doubloons vendor, and this vendor will sell these Island Expedition pieces of gear, which are intended for characters that haven't leveled the normal way. So if you've leveled through Island Expeditions, or you've leveled through maybe the Freehold boost, this is a way to get a little bit of gear on the character. It goes from 111 to 120 and it kind of scales depending on what level you are. And it's BOA, so you can buy it on one character and send it to another. My only problem with this gear is it's a little bit too expensive. 35 doubloons is quite a lot. It costs you like 210 doubloons for all the pieces. So that's a little bit too expensive for my liking, but it's still kind of nice. It just, yeah, maybe tune that down a little bit. Next up is 2 new mounts, one for Horde, one for Alliance, and these come from completing the questline 2 sides to every tale. We just talked about improvements to the leveling, and this is going to require you to level. You need a character on both factions, and you need to do the questlines Tides of Vengeance on Horde and Alliance, and A Nation United on Alliance, and Zandalar Forever on Horde. Once you've done all of those quest lines, you'll be awarded with the Horde mount and the Alliance mount. Obviously you can only use the horse on Horde and the wolf on Alliance, but once you're done with that, you will get those mounts, so something to work towards. Next up is a few new quest lines to go through. We're going to have continuation of like the Heart of Azeroth story, and finding out how we can kind of heal Azeroth. And at the end of it, you will get 10 item level. I'm not too sure if there's going to be a rep requirement behind this questline or anything like that, or if you just need to have done the previous ones. But yeah, keep that in mind too. There's also going to be a continuation to Hattie. Oh, sorry, not a well, kind of a continuation. You're going to be able to get Hattie back. There's going to be a war campaign continuation and also a new questline for Xalatath, which was the Shadow Priest dagger in Legion. So quite a few cool questlines. The next feature up is the portal room, and while this looks visually amazing, I absolutely love what they've done with the portal room. There have been a few issues around the portal room up here lately, which is that they've added this really cool portal room where all the portals are kind of condensed. They've removed a lot of the portals from other places, making it actually harder to get around the world now than it was previously, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a portal room. Now their reasoning behind this is that they feel like it's a little bit too easy to get around and it's making the world feel smaller, which is fair, but there are a few portals that they removed that were a little bit too good, like the places are a little bit too hard to get to. And they've been quite good talking to the community about the ones that have been removed that we feel shouldn't be, so hopefully we do see some of those portals back. But we'll see. But overall, the portal rooms look amazing outside of the issues with the other portals being removed. Next up, finally we're going to see the allied races, the Kulturan humans, and also the Zandalari trolls. Those are finally going to be available, and all you need to have done is be exalted with your main factions of the Zandalar or the Kulturan, and then done the Tides of Vengeance, I think. I think that's all the requirements there are. Might be wrong, but it should be fairly achievable for people playing up until this point. And both pretty cool races. I definitely think I'm going to be checking out the Zandalari Troll, as I do quite like them a lot, especially the Paladin one. The mount just looks really cool. I like that a lot. Next up are profession items that once you get capped on your BFA profession, you'll be able to go on a questline, which will reward you with a unique item at the end of it. For inscription, you'll be able to create blood contracts and also siphon the dead around you to heal you. Blood contracts are basically like guardians that you can summon and help you in combat. For blacksmithing, you'll be able to have a chance of creating indestructible gear and also repair a piece of your own gear. For alchemy, you'll be able to interact with various cauldrons around the zones and also transmute your item into various other items that do cool things like give you extra proc chance and stuff. For level working, you'll be able to interact with drums around the zones, giving you might, speed, or resilience, and also you have a permanent bloodlust yourself. For jewel crafting, you'll be able to find these shrines where you can get gems from them and also extract gems out of your own gear. For engineering, you'll be able to summon kind of like a guardian of sorts, like an engineering gizmo guardian that'll help you in combat in some ways. For tailoring, you'll be able to get more cloth from various sources and also have a resurrect. And then for enchanting, you'll be able to gain extra resources from things you need disenchant, and also consume one veil crystal to animate an inert golem. Difficult words. So pretty cool. Definitely worth doing if you are capped, and if not, start working towards capping out your professions now, because some of these are quite cool to have. They do require a bit of mats and some grinding and obviously a quest line to go with it, but overall interesting enough. Next up is going to be the new raid, and while the raid won't launch with the patch, it'll be on the 17th and 24th of April, so it's going to come a little bit later on. Which is fair because we've only literally just got the current raid anyway. It's going to be a 2-boss raid, and the interesting thing about the raid is that it's going to have an old god theme to it, but also a lot of unique items that have on-use effects or procs and stuff that aren't attached to just trinkets or weapons. There's legs and gloves, trinkets, weapons, all kinds of things that will have these special procs. One is a trinket that gives you a huge amount of mastery, but kills you over time, over a 30-second period. So you either need cooldowns, or you need healing, or whatever. You need to time it right, or you need to turn it off. Or there's one that you can put like an absorb shield on someone, or there's one that will, when you've not taken damage, you gain a stacking crit. So there's some really cool, interesting items, and the item level from the raid is also going to be slightly higher than the current raid, so it's definitely going to be worth doing as well when that drops. Next up is there is going to be a new raiding with leashes. This is going to be for Mr. Pandaria, and it's going to be in Mogashan Vaults, in Terrace of the Endless Springs, and in Heart of Fear. And there's going to be bosses throughout that drop their different pets. It's going to be a handful in each of the dungeons, the raids for you to go through and collect. And once you collect them all, you will be awarded with the Shower of Happiness, or I think it's just called Happiness, which is a little happiness pet. And I'm not too sure if it is a reference to someone who's been a part of the WoW community for a while, Shower of Happiness or Happa. Might be, it seems quite similar to how they were, basically they were a Shower of Happiness, so it would make sense if that's for them. Next up is Darkmoon Faire changes. First of all is the new roller coaster ride. It's a little bit weird. It kind of zooms you in, and it's okay. It's interesting to do once or twice. The other thing to note though is it will give you the 10% experience buff once you're done with it. So if you don't want to sit on the carousel, you could sit on that instead. It doesn't really matter. There's also going to be some new pets that you can collect. There's going to be 3 balloon pets. There's going to be a murloc, a wolf, and a horse. Basically, they're not battle pets. They'll basically just follow you around. It's basically a balloon. So nothing too special, but they're okay-ish. So if you want to add more pets to your collection, then you're going to be able to do that with the Darkmoon Faire. Next up is some changes to some of the events and also micro holidays being added. First up is the Children's Week has had some new pets added to it, and is also going to have an event for the Kulturan and also the Zandalari. There's going to be a pet week for them. Oh, sorry, a child week for them. Pet week, same difference pretty much. So you're going to be able to do that. There is also going to be 3 new micro holidays to go through. There's going to be free t-shirt week, where you can grab yourself a new t-shirt. There's going to be this Luminaries, which is basically going deep down into the water. And then there's going to be the festival of something, a Mr. Pandaria looking one. Free t-shirt day is going to give you an item that will take off all your clothes apart from your shirt, so you can show off your flashy t-shirt that you've got on. And then the last one is, once I get a Wanderers Festival, there we go, to celebrate Luan Lang. So cool, some cool new holidays. We're not going to see some of them for quite a while, like that one is in November, but something else to look forward to that's a little bit new and fresh. Next up on our list is some PvP stuff, and first of all we have Winter's Grasp is making a return as an epic battleground, so you'll be able to queue up for it whenever you want. It's going to be a 40 vs 40 battleground. You'll be randomly put on either attacking or defending, and if you're attacking you're going to have to kill either players or NPCs, rank up, get the siege engines, capture the buildings, and attack, and basically your goal is to make it to the main vault. And if you're defending, your goal is going to be to fend off the attackers, destroying their vehicles, retaking the buildings, using the cannons to basically defend. So it's going to be kind of cool. Right now, well, on the PTR when it was tested, the defenders had a big advantage to the attackers. Hopefully that's going to be fixed for launch, otherwise it's going to be kind of similar to how it was back in the day where it's really one-sided, and back then I think you got a stacking debuff each time you defended it or something. You're not going to have that this time, so hopefully it is a lot more balanced, but it is nice to see Winter's Grasp make a return as something a little bit new and fresh for the Epic Battleground rotation. Next up is the updates to Warsong Basin and Warsong Gulch. They've not had any gameplay changes, they're going to play exactly the same. You know, there's no differences in elevation or areas or whatever. They're going to just look better. They're going to be updated to fit the game's current standards. And they do look pretty cool. So if you're a fan of PvP and you do a lot of battlegrounds, you can have some new battlegrounds to kind of join into and take a look at. So look forward to that. And then the final change is there's going to be a Warsong Basin that is verse AI. So kind of like the Island Expeditions where you verse AI players. It's going to be a full battleground versus AI players, and I assume it's just them trying to take the tech to the next level. They want to see how far they can push it, and hopefully they end up being actual competition, because it would be kind of cool to see NPCs that can play better than players, or just as well as players. It could make for some really unique encounters and stuff in the future. So looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But that's going to be in a Warsong Basin, and I'm not too sure when we're going to actually see the first one of that, but it's going to be at some point during 1.8.5. So that is everything. That is all the stuff coming in 8.1.5. There might be a few little bits here and there that have been missed, but this is the bulk, the chunk of all the stuff that's coming. So thank you for watching the video. Look out for more videos coming soon. See ya!